want to say good afternoon to all the children of the covenants and all the natural seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Good afternoon to you as well. Yes, sir. There are some natural seed that are not children of the covenant because they don't abide in it. You know, in order to be a child of the covenant, you got to be living in the covenant. So we're going to go ahead and get into the lesson then. The title of today's lesson is The Law, Spiritual and Holy. Again, the title of the lesson is The Law, Spiritual and Holy. Because we got this uphill battle that we have to fight because of this Sunday doctrine and these false prophets have taught everybody that the law is done away with or it's not any good. So then you have men marrying men and women marrying women, and they can't defend it because they have killed the law. Right. So even though they try to say something against it, their voices go unheard because they have already said the law is no good. And man should not lay with mankind as with womankind as a part of the law. Mm-hmm. So you got these wicked people who everybody think is holy, perpetuating evil and wickedness. So now we have to battle this, and everywhere we go is, well, I thought we didn't have to keep the law. But the law was established before man took one breath.
Yes, sir.
Satan broke the law in the kingdom of heaven and got kicked out for that. Now, if Satan, who was already in the kingdom of heaven, got kicked out of heaven for breaking the law of God, what makes you think you're going to get in if you break it? That's a question that people need to ask themselves. How are you going to get in when somebody that's already spirit got kicked out? You just flesh and blood. So let's start this in Exodus, the 19th chapter. Exodus chapter 19. And this is the beginning of the priesthood, not the Levitical priesthood, but the priesthood where Israel was made a part of the priesthood of Melchizedek. This is the beginning of it. And priests have a specific job. One is to make offerings unto the Lord. The other one is to intercede for the people. And another one is to administer the law. Exodus 19, we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Exodus 19 and 1. Go ahead and read, brother.
In the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai.
Now, we all heard of Mount Sinai, right, where the commandments was given to Israel at? Go ahead.
For they were departed from Rephidim, and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness. Mm-hmm. And there Israel camped before the mount.
So now you got the whole nation of Israel. They camped before the Mount of Sinai. Go ahead and read.
And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel.
So it's the Lord who called unto Moses and said, look, this is what I want you to tell the people. Go ahead and read, brother.
Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, mm-hmm. and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant.
He said, now look, if you will obey my voice and keep my covenant. These words here, they have significant meaning.
Yes, sir.
Because they are words of condition. They are stipulations that have something connected to it. If you do this and that. Go ahead and start that over.
Verse 5. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine.
First thing he said is, all the earth is his, all of it. So wherever anybody's at that think that they ain't got to deal with God, you got to deal with him. You're going to meet him. Mm-hmm. You're going to stand before him, and he's going to tell you which way to go. Whether to the lake of fire or to the Father's kingdom. He's going to let you know. But he said, if you keep his covenant and his commandments, that then you will be a peculiar treasure. You got people running around thinking they're a peculiar treasure right now without keeping the commandments, talking about they blessed and highly favored. How is that? If you're not keeping the commandments. If you have not entered into a covenant with God, how then are you blessed and highly favored? Because right here he said you got to do something in order to be a peculiar treasure unto him. Go ahead and read.
Verse 6. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
So it's the Lord who said Israel was supposed to be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation, a perfect nation, a nation without blemish.
Yes, sir.
But they have to do something in order to be without blemish. They have to keep the commandments, keep the covenant. Then they are peculiar treasure. They are a holy nation. They are a kingdom of priests. Nothing was mentioned here about the Levitical priesthood. Nothing. Because the Levitical priesthood wasn't instituted until the Lord said, oh, we need y'all to sacrifice these animals so I don't have to kill everybody. Skip down to verse 10 and go ahead and read.
Verse 10. And the Lord said unto Moses, go unto the people, and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the third day.
Why?
For the third day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai.
Oh, wait a minute. They got to clean themselves up before they go meet the Lord?
Yes, sir.
Can you come to the Lord then as you are?
No, sir.
You can't do it. So you got to even wash your clothes before you come and meet him. Go ahead.
Verse 12.
And skip down to verse 17. Go ahead.
And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the nether part of the mount.
So now they stood at the bottom of the mountain. So he brought them out to meet with God. They had to wash their clothes. It took them 3 days to get ready to meet God. So first they had to get this right, then also get their physical thing right. You just can't come to the Lord any kind of way you want to. You come up here with holes all in your pants, knowing you got some pants that ain't got no holes in them. Or you come in here with the stuff you had on at the club on Friday night when you weren't even supposed to be there, but then you come to class and everything's showing. You don't come to the Lord like that. Because you're not coming to present yourself before me or anybody else in here. You're coming to present yourself before the Lord as he commanded you. Did you finish that verse?
Yes.
All right, let's go into the 20th chapter. And let's look at it. 20 and 1. Go ahead.
And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
First is God that spake all these words. He said, I am the Lord your God. I'm the one. I'm the one that brought you. I'm the one that delivered you out of Egypt. So this is the contract that you're going to have to sign in order to be a part of this kingdom of priests, this holy nation. Go ahead.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Oh, so since you can't have no other gods before him, then you can't go and serve this God who is sitting over in Rome. You can't serve that God, because that's who he make himself as a God, and his followers make him as a God. They tell you they don't have to listen to Jesus; they got to listen to Papa. They'll tell you that. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
Take the cross from around your neck then. Go ahead.
Or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
Oh, so you got to take that picture off your wall? Go ahead.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God.
Wait a minute. He said you can't bow down yourself to them?
No, sir.
And serve them? Well, what are we going to do on the 25th day of December then? What are we going to do if we can't bow down and serve these false gods? You're going to be lost. Well, what do I do? Find out what the Lord say. Read his book. Keep his days. Go ahead and finish.
Middle of verse 5. Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
Give me that verse again.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
They hate him because they hate his commandments. They hate his laws. They're showing you that every day. They out here talking about God is stupid. Was he so stupid that he gave you the breath of life? And you don't know how to recreate it? Was he so stupid to put a limit on how long you're going to live, and you can't get no further than that? Go ahead.
Verse 6. And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
So now we see who love him. But they always tell me they love Jesus. They always tell me they love God. But he said the ones that love him keep his commandments. Keep on reading.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
You know what taking the Lord's name in vain is? See, I got to break these things down because it ain't just for us in here. And besides, we got new people, but it's for the people that's going to see this online too. Taking the Lord's name in vain is you talking about you a minister of God, you a servant of God, or you a pastor or something like that, but you promoting homosexuality. You promoting adultery. You promoting theft. It's okay. The Lord will forgive you. So I can go steal something every day, and the Lord going to forgive me. But I can also say then, I'm a Christian. That's impossible. It's not possible. It is not possible. And through the course of this lesson, we're going to see these things. But if you're going to tell somebody that you belong to Christ, but you're breaking his law, you're taking the name of the Lord, your God. Well, he ain't your God if you're breaking his law, but you're taking the name of the Lord God in vain. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 7, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
There go that forgiveness. He's not going to hold you guiltless. Go ahead and read.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work.
Any work?
Any work.
Come on.
Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Why? Go ahead.
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
So he said he blessed the seventh day, right? And he made it holy. But you got some people talking about you can keep the Sabbath on any day. Then you got some other crazy people talking about the Sabbath day is a floating Sabbath. The seventh day don't float. The seventh day is a seventh day. So that's the day that he hallowed. That's the day that he made holy.
Yes, sir.
So how's it then that you're going to come in tomorrow and talking about it's the Lord's day? How is that? If you had some understanding, you would know that the Father's kingdom don't come till the eighth day, and ain't no flesh and blood going to be in it. Mm-hmm. But if you want to, I'm saying if you had some understanding about that day. But since when you get to it, it's the first day of the week. That's just the beginning. You got a whole another 6 days to get through before you get to God. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 12, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Now this the first, the book says this is the first commandment we're promised, right? But the government that we live in, and not just this government, but other governments too, mainly Gentile governments, have decided that you don't have to honor your parents. They have decided that your parents can't rear you, can't bring you up properly. Because if they do, then they'll go to jail. But it's a reason for that. It's a reason. And we ought not to be blind to these things. Because Satan got a plan. He got a plan, and there are those that are conspiring with Satan. And we got to look out for these people. Because he has a plan to destroy the entire priesthood of God.
Yes, sir.
Because if he get rid of the priest, he can get rid of everybody else. But the most dangerous people on the planet are the people that know the word of God. Mm-hmm. Uncut. We're the most dangerous people on the planet to Satan and to his followers. So then, stuff that happened the other day, was that Thursday? Whatever day it was, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it still happened. But check it out, though. That ain't going to be the last time.
No, sir.
It might be the last time it happened in one of those places, because they don't serve the true and living God. But that's just the overlay for the underplay. They're going to be at you. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 13, thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife.
So you can't covet?
No, sir.
Go ahead.
Nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
So if it's not yours, then it's your neighbor's, and you can't covet after it.
No, sir.
You can't lust after it. Because that thing, that's what Cain did. He coveted what his brother Abel had and then ended up murdering his brother. and then ended up lying to God about it. This guy was all the way wrong. He the first one committed murder. His children was the first ones to have more than one wife. Because in the beginning, all you got was that rib. Because you're supposed to be in the image of the Godhead, if you understand it. And God, the Godhead, only got two members. That's Jesus and Israel, whose name was changed to Jesus. Where we at?
Verse 18.
Come on.
And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die.
So look, they want to call it the Mosaic law, but these people said, hey, this is God talking to us. They heard his voice. It wasn't like Moses went up in the mountain and got the commandments and came down and gave it to the people. It was a secret. They heard the voice of God. And they heard all the commandments. And they said, wait a minute. We ain't trying to deal with God. Because they knew in their mind they was wicked. And they didn't want to die. What they should have been thinking was, I want to get closer to God. Yeah, I want to deal with his commandments. Yeah, I want to abide with him. See, because his intentions are for you to come into his family. They was running away from God off top. And they supposed to be in the kingdom of priests. Let's continue on. Let's go into the 24th chapter. Would you finish that?
Read the 20.
Yeah, read 20. Read verse 20.
And Moses said unto the people, Fear not, for God is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not.
That's why he said that you sin not, so that his fear may be before your faces. That way, if you don't sin, you can enter into his family. You can enter into his kingdom.
Yes, sir.
That's what it's about. Not for you to fear him and run from him, but for you to fear him and obey him. Yes, just like my father, I obey him because I fear him. But now that I'm almost 50 years old, I understand him and I respect him. And I reverence him because no doubt he's still my father. But see, if you can reverence your physical father, why is that you can't reverence your spiritual father? You can treat him any kind of way, do whatever you want to do. I dare you go in your father's house and do whatever you want to do. I dare you. My father smoked in his house. I don't come to his house and say, hey, man, I'm here now, put your cigarette out. I just say, hey, point me to a corner of the house where the smoke don't reach, and I'm good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Chapter 24, Exodus. It's hot outside, and we got air conditioning here, so we're going to be in here all day. Might as well take notes, because you're going to have to go out. This is the reason for this lesson. You have to go out and teach this to people.
Yes, sir.
That way you don't have to call me and say, could you explain this to these people? Hey, you're supposed to have this. Can y'all hear me? I know y'all not listening, but can you hear me? Chapter 24, verse 2. 24 and 2. No, it's 1. I apologize. Verse 1, go ahead.
And he said unto Moses, Come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron and Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship ye afar off.
So now he told Moses, come on, y'all come on up. You get 73 more guys, and y'all come up and worship before the Lord. Go ahead. Go ahead and read.
And Moses alone shall come near the Lord, but they shall not come nigh, neither shall the people go up with him. And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord, and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice and said, All the words which the Lord hath said, we will do.
So they agreed to the terms of the contract, to the terms of the covenant. They have agreed to it. So now the Lord said, okay, come up. We're going to have a meeting now. Skip down to verse 9.
Verse 9. Then went up Moses and Aaron and Nadab and Abihu and 70 of the elders of Israel. And they saw the God of Israel, and there was under his feet as it were a paved work of a sapphire stone, and as it were the body of heaven in his clearness.
So they saw God. They didn't see the Father, but they saw God. Go ahead.
And upon the nobles of the children of Israel he laid not his hand. Also they saw God and did eat and drink.
So they saw God, didn't they? and he communed with them. He spoke with them. So like I said, this thing about this law, it wasn't no secret. It wasn't that only Moses heard the voice of God. The whole nation heard the voice of God.
Yes, sir.
And they agreed to the terms of the covenant. What verse?
Verse 12.
Skip down to 15 and go ahead and read it.
And Moses went up into the mount, and a cloud covered the mount. And the glory of the Lord abode upon Mount Sinai. And the cloud covered it 6 days. And the 7th day he called unto Moses out of the midst of the cloud. And the sight of the glory of the Lord was like devouring fire on the top of the mount in the eyes of the children of Israel.
Go ahead.
And Moses went into the midst of the cloud and got him up into the mount. And Moses was in the mount 40 days and 40 nights.
So now he up in the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. Now the Lord had already spoke the commandments to the whole nation. So the whole nation of Israel and Moses heard the commandments. So now the Lord called Moses up into this mountain. After he had everybody gather around, they all saw Moses go up into the smoke and stuff. So then he there communed with God for 40 days and 40 nights. And what happened was he got these commandments broken down to him. And this is what the priest's job is. Because everybody knows what the commandments are, but now we got to break them down to people. Let's go into chapter 31 of Exodus. Chapter 31. We're going to read this one verse. One verse. Verse 18. Go ahead and read it.
And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of God.
So now he wrote these commandments himself. He said 2 tables of testimony. Testimony is just another word for covenant. So two tables of the covenant written with his own finger. Written with God's own finger. So he gave them to Moses to bring down to the people, because the Lord understands how humans are, how deceptive they try to be. Like, we're not going to read it, but like how Cain was in the early days. He said, "Oh, I don't know what happened to Abel." He tricked his brother. "Hey, come and let me talk to you for a minute." His own brother, and murdered him. See, this how man mind works. And the Lord understands that, so he said they're going to try to say that they forgot about these commandments. So I'm going to put them on 2 tables of stone so they'll have them. I don't have to always be there. See, the Lord can see it far off. He see way off, and he called the end from the beginning. He tell you what's going to happen because he going to put it in order and you can't stop it. But see, we need to start to see like God see. We need to start to see it far off too. We need to start to have that spiritual vision and stop being so carnal. Chapter 32. Pick it up at verse 1. Exodus 32 and 1. Go ahead.
And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron, and said unto him, Up, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him.
So now, first thing they do, when Moses is out of their sight, they say, "Hey, Aaron, make us some gods so that we can worship these gods that brought us out of Egypt." But wait a minute. Y'all heard the voice of God, right?
Yes.
Y'all heard it. Y'all heard the words of the covenant, right? Y'all heard it. So then, how is it that a month and 10 days go by and you forget that the Lord just about destroyed Egypt to bring you out of this horrible bondage? How you witnessed the Lord drown the Egyptians in the Red Sea, and you heard his voice speaking to you his commandments. And a month and 10 days later, you say, "Hey, we don't got no God." So this Aaron, who was later called the high priest, he going to make them some gods. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 2. And Aaron said unto them, Break off the golden earrings.
No, he said, "Why y'all want to do this," right?
No.
That's what he should have said. But that's not what he did, though. But the Lord called him the high priest, so I can't say nothing about it. Go ahead and read.
And Aaron said unto them, break off the golden earrings, which are on the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me. And all the people brake off the golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
And he received them at their hand, and fashioned it with a graving tool.
So he did exactly what they told him to do. He made them some gods. Go ahead.
After he had made it a molten calf, and they said, these be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
Wait a minute, but they know the God that brought them out of the land of Egypt. They even heard his voice. And they get Aaron to make them a golden calf and call it their God. But in the commandments it said, thou shalt have no other gods before me, right? It also said you can't have no graven images, right? It also says you can't take the name of the Lord in vain, right? They heard this spoken by the voice of God, not Moses' voice, but the voice of God. But yet Aaron, I'm done talking about Aaron. Where we at?
Verse 5.
Verse 5? Okay, skip down to, hold on. Yeah, go ahead and read verse 6.
Skip down to verse 6.
No, read verse 5 and 6.
Okay. And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it.
What? I'm done talking about this guy. Go ahead.
And Aaron made proclamation and said, tomorrow is a feast to the Lord.
Y'all see how this thing go? And these people right now today, they doing the same kind of mess. They making special days to their pagan gods. I'm just going to put this thing in my pocket. You read verse 6?
Verse 6. And they rose up early on the morrow and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and to drink.
So they offered unto this pagan god, this god that they was walking around with them around their neck and on their fingers and on their ankles and stuff. And now all of a sudden it's their god. That is some madness. I got a tie clip on, but tomorrow I'm going to be worshiping it. How stupid did that look? But that's what they did. And this is the kind of stuff that they're doing now. They're telling you that you ain't got to keep them old commandments, that you're a legalist. I love when they call me a legalist. I say, yes, I am.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm a legalist, that makes you an illegalist. So you a criminal. I'm not. Skip down to verse 15. Go ahead.
And Moses turned and went down from the mount, and the 2 tables of the testimony were in his hand.
Because the Lord had told him, them people down there that you brought out of Egypt, see, the Lord disowned them right then. He said the people that you brought out of Egypt, Moses, they down there doing wickedly. So Moses came down to check it out. Go ahead.
The tables were written on both their sides. On the one side and on the other were they written.
So these tables, both tables was written on both sides. Go ahead.
And the tables were the work of God, and the writing was the writing of God, graven upon the tables.
Mm-hmm.
And when Joshua heard the noise of the people as they shouted, and he said unto Moses, there is a noise of war in the camp.
So Joshua thinking that it's a war going on down there, but he got to wait on Moses because he was Moses' steward. Go ahead.
And he said, it is not the voice of them that shout for mastery, neither is it the voice of them that cry for being overcome, but the noise of them that sing do I hear.
He said, look, there ain't no war going on down there except a spiritual war. And it sounds like they losing because they down there partying when they supposed to be worshiping God. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, as soon as he came nigh unto the camp, that he saw the calf and the dancing, and Moses' anger waxed hot, and he cast the tables out of his hands and brake them beneath the mount.
So now, this is how angry he got, that he took the tables that was written with the finger of God, and he broke them. Because he seen what was going on, and he understood what the Lord had done for these people, and how he heard they cry, and how he answered them. And then they turned on him. That's treachery. They entered into a covenant with God. They truce breakers. These things are against God. You can't be no Christian and be a truce breaker. You can't be a servant of God and break the covenant. You can't do it. You can't be a servant of God and have not entered into a covenant. Go ahead.
Verse 20. And he took the calf which they had made, and burnt it in the fire, and ground it to powder, and strawed it upon the water, and made the children of Israel drink of it.
Mm-hmm. So that's how angry he was. And they knew Moses was a killer, so they wasn't going to too hardly argue with him that much. But anyway, so he broke those tables of stone. So now you would think that, okay, since he broke them, you ain't got to keep the commandments no more, right? I don't know.